Hello again, welcome back to the second half of the stream. If you're watching on YouTube, this should be out on the Tuesday. And if you're watching it now, it's already Tuesday and gone. So yes, we started playing. Actually, let's just switch over to the picture. Yes, we started playing Policenauts on the Saturn with the English translation patch applied to it, and after quite a slow intro with a lot of backstory and things, which was actually a really good intro, giving us details about the history of the characters and how they all, or at least the initial characters, how they link together, has really helped with the initial thing that happened with meeting Jonathan's wife. Yeah, and it's quite a lot to take in at the moment, Jonathan having been gone for 25 years, and then suddenly he's back. Yeah. So I kind of lost my train of thought there. It's definitely got an interesting start. I mean, it's starting a lot. After a slow initial bit, it's kicking off quite rapidly, more rapidly than Snatcher did. Yeah. So yeah, one thing my wife pointed out, because she's watching here as well, the title of the film on that theatre, Debbie Does It All. I wasn't really able to read it on the screen here. Maybe it's more visible if I had the CRT filter on it. I don't like CRT filters. They it's something about the picture hurts my eyes, weirdly. I don't quite get it. But yeah. Yeah, Debbie Does It All, reference to an old film, Debbie Does Dallas. Kojima's notorious for putting in references in his games. There's also that banner that's being held up. It looks like it's being held up by those two characters, called Speed King, I believe. I'm not sure what that is a reference to, because I don't recognise the picture. I can't tell if that's meant to be aircraft or something like Wipeout. But yeah. So yeah, the last thing that just happened before I went for my break was Jonathan was waiting for a client to turn up, and that client turned out to be his ex-wife from before his accident when he was gone for 25 years. So she's now in her 50s. He's barely 30 at this point because he was in cryostasis basically for a quarter of a century. She's married, has a daughter. But her husband's gone missing, and she's asking him to go look for him. And she's given us some details and a few clues. And she left, and he watched her out the window, and then he noticed that there was somebody else out there, and he realised that something was going to go wrong with the car, and this guy clicked a button, and her car blew up. So Jonathan has run out, and now he's trying to figure out where this person went. So I left the emulator pause. So now we're going to jump into what I imagine is going to be an action scene. So let's go. Okay. Oh. Oh, great. Yeah, he's on the back of that truck. Okay, shooting with the cursor is hard. And you're leaving your wife behind? It's an alleyway, goes quite a bit back. Okay. Leaving his wife behind, lying on the ground. Okay. Okay, he's bleeding. Yeah, he's clearly bleeding, but why is it white? Continues further back. Okay. More blood. Looks like he's around here somewhere. This was done with spray paint. Okay. Definitely doesn't look like more of the blood. Definitely bleeding a hell of a lot. So, trail stops here, meaning he can't be far away. So it continues further up. The arrow goes back some more. He has to be around here. Let me check some more. Okay. This is where the blood stops. Okay. Garbage bags are placed next to the dumpster. They're made out of biodegradable plastic. Plastic has started to decompose. Must have been here a while. What is that? Something underneath? You couldn't possibly be inside one of these. It's a dumpster. There's just enough room for someone to hide behind it, or maybe even in it. I'd have to get closer to check it out. Looks like it's full of garbage. Doesn't seem to be any blood stains on it. Okay. Blood stops here. Okay. Yeah, it's not the first mention of biodegradable plastic. You might have missed it earlier because the beer cans early on were made of a biodegradable plastic, and I mentioned that it's interesting that even back in '96 when this game came out, they were considering that as a possible future. So the fact that it's slowly starting to happen now. And the game's set in 2040, so we've got another 17 years before we catch up. Okay. Right. Those are wooden boxes filled with empty bottles. They'd be the perfect size for someone to hide behind. There's one place he could be. It's also right around where the blood stops. You'd have a perfect view of the alley from behind here. Right, okay. Try the doorways. Certainly could be in there. There's something about it. I'd better be careful around there. Matches up exactly with where the blood stops. He has to be around here somewhere. Let me check some more. Okay. That other doorway is a possibility too. Son of a bitch, I can't see a thing. Okay. Right, I don't have a flashlight with me. Right, okay, just trying random buttons at the moment. It's going to be it's too dark to see up ahead. Have to get close to check it out. He could easily be inside it. He has to be around here somewhere. Let me check some more. I've checked everything I can. There's a drum here.
Yes, sir.
God, these shooting sections are hard. Oh. God, how many shots can this guy take? It definitely hit him. No, he's not human because he doesn't have normal blood. I am not going to let you get away. Nobody's this fast. Wait a minute. More blood on the ground. Yes, it says I'll kill you. Written in blood. That's a message for me. Still could be around here somewhere. Wooden boxes. They're empty though. Doesn't look like it's behind here. More boxes. There isn't enough room to hide behind those ones. Okay. Is he hiding that spot? Okay. You're going to kill me, huh? So what's taking you so long? Show yourself, arsehole. Can't really tell from here. It's a concrete wall. I don't see anywhere he could hide. The only place someone could hide would be that hollow over there. It's a dead end up here. There's no need to hurry. I should check this area out more. Okay, well, what else am I looking for? Don't think you could climb this. Even if you use the box as a foothold, you still wouldn't get anywhere. Okay. Don't think you could climb up this. He wrote this in his own blood. The guy's a psycho. Yeah. Right, what have I not clicked on then? Can't go running down here. He could be waiting in ambush. Okay, there's something I'm missing here. Don't think you could climb this. Hang on a minute. He isn't. Oh. Okay. Right, well that went about as well as expected. Do I want to save? Yes! Yes, overwrite it.
雪が止んだわ。よかった。またあなたと一緒に星が見られた。会いたかったわ。この28年間。
ロレイン。
その時計まだしてくれてるのね。
時間にルーズな俺に君がくれたものだ。
私たちの時間は止まっていたのに。ジョナサン、お願い。カレンは病気なの。助けてあげて。
Oh, that's new.
カレンは。
ロレイン。ロレイン。ロレイン。
知り合いか。
友人だ。古い。
かわいそうに。ビヨンドから来たんだろう。
いや、 戻ってきたんだ。
Hmm.
戻ってきたんだ。俺のところに。
So she's dead. Some 90s CGI?
本日は ASL797 便をご利用いただきまして誠にありがとうございます。当機はグラビティターンに移り、順調にビヨンドコーストへの軌道を飛行しております。なお、これより先は無重量状態となりますので、ご気分の悪くなられた方はウィンドウ脇の呼び出しボタンを押してお近くのスチュワーデスまでご連絡ください。
She said the word stewardess.
どうしたんですか？気分が悪いようですね。
宇宙は苦手で。
宇宙酔いですか？珍しいな。宇宙は初めて。
いや、昔事故で宇宙を漂流して、それで宇宙恐怖症に。
それは大変ですね。スチュワーデスに行って薬をもらったらどうです？コールボタンなら壁の赤いスイッチですよ。
いや、まだ大丈夫。
気を紛らわすには話すのが一番。
I don't like this guy. I also don't like that marking on his forehead. And is he blind? I don't see any pupils in his eyes.
隣に座ったのも何かの縁です。よろしく。私はレッドウッドです。
ああ、イングラムです。よろしく。
I'll go to sleep. Right, I'm just going to do Actually, no, I don't think I need to. What's that emblem on your jacket? This Policenauts emblem. Policenauts. They're from back in the day. Yes. He's got a really pale complexion. I wouldn't call it pale. It's kind of sickly. Why is that your skin colour? This is my artificial blood. My red blood cells are actually white. Oh shit, I've just realised something. The biker was bleeding from the arm. He's got bandages on his arm. The same arm that was bleeding. Oh dear, is Jonathan sitting right next to the guy who tried to kill him? Okay, red blood cells are actually white. White blood. I use first generation artificial blood, which is less complex than third generation kind you see on home. He's kind of awkward to talk to. So you injured your arm. I just burned it a little. Mind if we talk? Yes. Ask about. It's about Beyond. Beyond is a very nice place. It has 1G artificial gravity and its own plant life. Terrestrials enjoy it a lot there too. If you want detailed information, you should talk to the stewardess. Ask about artificial blood. What does having artificial blood do for somebody? Artificial blood has a higher oxygen transportation efficiency than normal blood, so it makes heavy blood loss less of a life-threatening condition. Which means they can take multiple shots. Yeah. Body's functions aren't negatively affected in areas of low oxygen density either. Yeah, it's perfect for people working in space. When are we going to arrive? We just left home a moment ago. Okay. That's your skin colour. It's really like that because of the artificial blood all the time. It's always like this, yes. Are you from Beyond? Yes, I was born and raised there. I had a family matter to attend to on home. And yourself? Are you this is so leaning towards this guy, this Tony, being the assassin, the would-be assassin, or successful assassin of Lorraine. Yourself, are you terrestrial? Not exactly. I used to be an amphibian. You know, going back and forth between home and beyond. Okay, amphibian. You were one of the amphibians. It was a long time ago, back when we were called astronauts. Ask about his job. First generation artificial blood. Are you in the military? Something like that, yes. I am a frozener, after all. So what about the injury on your arm? Yeah, what about it? Never mind. Yeah, what are frozeners? What do you mean by frozener? A frozener is someone created from an artificially fertilized egg held in cryogenic storage by the government. Or the breeders, as we call them. The egg is later transferred to a surrogate mother for gestation and delivery. Yeah, heard a little about them. There's still a severe manpower shortage in space development. You sound like I'm boring you. Right, I'm not going to show him any of those things because I'm suspicious. Okay, remarkable, isn't it? An emotionless vacuum in which only the tiniest of organisms can survive. I wonder, can I... Sorry if I'm being rude, but what's that writing on your forehead? It's my tag. All frozeners have one. I've never seen writing like that before. These tags have been designed to prevent a human being from being able to distinguish between them. Hang on, what? Designed to prevent a human being from being able to distinguish between them. That doesn't make sense. That therefore prevents them from being analysed and forged. Okay. What's the... There's a button to call the stewardess and a button for the TV. Okay. Turn on the TV. Let's see what's on the tube. Oh, this is when we're going to see Karen, isn't it? BBC! Beyond Broadcasting Company. Karen. Yep.
こんにちは。ニュースオーダーの時間です。現在、ビヨンド内でのナーク中毒者が急増しております。事態を重く見た BCP では、ビヨンドでのナーク根絶を図るため、特別チームを編成。ホームからのナーク流入ルートの解明を急いでいるとのことです。ナークはアヘンから作られる合成麻薬で、モルヒネ型依存症状と LSD などの幻覚誘発症状をも兼ね備えた麻薬の帝王と言われるものです。宇宙推進事業団によりますと、宇宙開発におけるナークの依存度は 30% を超えると報告されており、宇宙でのナーク中毒者は増加の傾向にあるとの見解に達しております。
Theory. The leaf that Lorraine has given Jonathan is from one of those plants, and they're cultivating it in Beyond and actually spreading it on the city rather than it being brought up from Earth. So they're keeping the narc in use so that they can then justify putting money or justify the cost of rehabilitation and the medication to deal with it. That is the sort of thing corporations will sometimes do. Maybe Lorraine's husband had been a part of this, found out what they were doing, and wanted to deal with it, or what's the term? Let the information out. I've forgotten the term for people who do that. Whistleblowing. He wanted to be a whistleblower, and they silenced him. Ideas.
以上 BBC からお伝えしました。
I love the fact they call it the BBC.
BBC どこのテレビ局だろ
今のはビヨンドのテレビ番組ですよ。ビヨンドコーストブロードキャスティング、つまり BBC ね。
I love that they referenced the fact that the BBC is British. Whether that's a translation note, I do not know. But anyway, let's... you know what, let's press the call button. I'll call the stewardess over. Or flight attendant, as I think they should be called.
はい、どうなさいましたか？顔色が悪い。
Kojima.
宇宙酔いですか？
ああ、
緊張なさらないで気を楽にしてください。
ありがとう。
何か私にできることございますか？
Ah, right, okay. Oh god, yeah, Kojima living up to his reputation. I'm not reading that. Okay. It's Kojima. Okay, he's suffering from cosmophobia. Yeah, he's suffering from cosmophobia, and all of a sudden a sexy girl with no bra comes along, and suddenly it's like, oh yes, horny boy. But actually, if you think about it, in 0G, you'd actually need a bra more. Yeah, it's actually all-encompassing to stop them from basically just going everywhere. Also, obviously, depending on how big you are. But I do recall in some versions of sci-fi, 0G is actually recommended for stopping them from sagging as you get older. Whether that's true? Right, let's see whether they actually animated them, as I have heard that they have done. Okay, that was far too much animation for that. Right, okay. No more of that. What the... Okay, you're really cute. Your face is a little chubby, though. Yeah, I mean, in this day and age, that sort of thing would get you in a lot of trouble. In zero gravity, your blood collects in the upper half of your body, causing your face to swell a little. It's called a moon face. I'm sure there's another interpretation of those words. Okay, let's talk to her. Miss? Yes. Ask about SAS. Medical definition of Space Adaptation Syndrome, or SAS, or SAS, is the symptoms one experienced during adaptation to zero gravity. It varies from person to person, but over 50% of people develop symptoms within 1 to 2 hours of entering weightlessness. Okay. Ask about the plane. Oh, bloody hell. Okay, this is attention to detail that's almost completely unnecessary. Normally we would spend the night in an Earth-orbiting space station and then travel the rest of the way in an orbital transfer vehicle. But this is a direct flight to beyond, which takes about 2 days. So we'll be there soon. Ask about the plane and the toilets. In accordance with stricter space debris regulation, the plane doesn't eject waste out into space like before. Yeah. So you won't get the chance to see any space fireflies, like Project Mercury's astronaut Glenn, or Milky Way's like a 7th astronaut Carpenter. Oh my god, the writing. Right, meals. Space food has vastly improved over the years and is actually quite tasty now. Talking about how bad airline food was at one time. Yeah, you think like 70s TV dinners, and that was gourmet food on a plane effectively. Following the latest trends on Earth, we even offer Japanese cuisine as well. However, because food doesn't taste as good in low air pressure environments, we don't bother using any exotic flavourings. Wouldn't you need more flavourings if that was the case? Okay, the fuel tank, which contains liquid hydrogen and liquid oxygen, is considerably big, so there's only enough seating for 30 people, including the crew. Right, fuselage. I've noticed it's extremely quiet on board. Yeah, because in space, there's no air pressure. There's no air friction as well. I mean, you might hear the rumble of the engine, but... Okay, the walls of the plane are reinforced with piezoelectric elements. They cancel out the noise from the plane being by bending in the opposite direction of the vibrations outside. No, but you can definitely see them considering how much effort they put into animating them. That's why it was so quiet when that's why it was so quiet when we were leaving the atmosphere. Okay, right, so arrival time. How much longer will it be until we arrive? Well, considering we only just left and she said it was 2 days. We're not far from beyond now. Okay. Right, so ask for medicine. You think you can give me something for my sass? I think you'll be alright. We'll be arriving at beyond shortly. I'm not going to take the medicine because I have a suspicion that it could be spiked. Am I overly cautious? Okay, I'll pass. Kojima. Why the hell not? If you're free, how about showing a stranger around beyond? I don't know if that's such a good idea. Yeah, I think that'll about do it. Have her stay or let her go? No, I'm going to let her go. Can I assist you with anything else? Thanks a lot. Call me again if you need anything. And you'd think in 0G, they...
少し眠ったらどうです？何かあれば起こしてあげますよ。
それじゃあ。
You'd think in 0G they'd wear shorts, not skirts, because you'll be floating around in all kinds of directions.
お疲れ様でした。当機は間もなくビヨンドコースト宇宙港に到着いたします。到着ロビーにて国際宇宙検疫制度に従った消毒殺菌、入国手続きをお願いいたします。なお、ただいまジュースと食塩錠剤をお配りしております。フライト中に体外へ流出した体液を補給するようご利用ください。本日は当 ASL のスペースプレーンをご利用いただきまして誠にありがとうございます。またのご利用をお待ちしております。
American Spaceways, but Japanese crew. Beyond Coast in 90 CGI. There's something very ominous about this. What's going to go wrong here? Yep. Wait, seriously? That's the whole of disc 1. Okay. That does not bode well for how long this game is. Right, I wanted to check the controls for this. So, I have saved. So what I need to do is, where is it? Eject disk and then switch to disk 2. Okay, so that'll reset. Switch to disk 2. let's go. Yeah, I'm kind of hoping it's only that way because Beyond Coast is huge and there's a lot to it, and they couldn't put everything on the on the first disc. Yeah, I sincerely hope Act 1 is huge. Because that's basically the prologue we've just played through. That's really got me worried for how long this game is. And also when you consider how much time I spent talking about stuff as well.
地球でのネゴシエーター特権もここでは通用しまい。一人で北条の行方を探すのは困難かもしれない。エド・ブラウンに協力を仰ぐのが賢明だろう。奴なら快く引き受けてくれるはずだ。エドはビヨンド警察 BCP にいる。奴も50代半ばのはず。ポリスノーツ時代からだから、きっと BCP でも出世してるに違いない。
Doing well for himself.
念のためにポリスノーツ時代の写真とロレインの写真を持ってきた。何かの役に立つかもしれない。BCP はこの宇宙港の近くにあるはず。まずはエドを探しに BCP へ急ごう。
Okay. It's a jumbo TV screen showing news from the BBC. I know it's not the actual British Broadcasting Company, but I do find it funny that they've used that acronym. See. Maybe I'll watch a little of the news first. We're going to see Karen again. Might have some new stories on.
Konnichiwa. こんにちは。ニュースオーダーの時間です。ビヨンド内でパーソナルバーチャルリアリティ用のわいせつアダルトソフトを違法制作・販売していたゴールド映像の関係者3名と PVR に出演していた AVR 女優2名が検挙されました。調べを受けたゴールド映像ではこれまで50タイトル以上もの PVR 用わいせつソフトを通信販売、年間50億円もの荒稼ぎを行っていた模様です。今回 AVR 女優までもが検挙されたというケースは初めてのことです。わいせつ AVR は手軽に家庭内で遊べることから未成年への悪影響が問題沙汰されていた矢先のことでした。以上 BBC からお伝えしました。
Right, okay. Now that was a new story. Right, okay. Right, it's a board displaying information about spaceplane departures and arrivals. I can't get over how many flights there are. Okay. Doesn't look like they're waiting for a flight. Seems like they've only got carry-on bag. Okay, what's that there? These plants have been selectively bred to photosynthesize artificial light as well as natural light. They're perfect for replenishing the colony's oxygen supply. Okay. Who's there over there? That person looks like an employee, judging from the uniform. Okay. There's passengers everywhere. Space is within everybody's reach. Okay. Escalator goes up to the second floor. Okay. Ah, right, okay. So I've got these options for where to go. So yeah, BCP.
よし、BCP へ急ごう。
Yeah. Beyond Coast Police Department.
さあ、エドに会えるといいな。
Right, sometimes it isn't obvious when the mouse pointer or cursor has appeared on screen, so sometimes I'm waiting for something to happen. Slightly annoying. Okay. These are the police suits BCP uses. They look like something you'd take to war. Yeah, probably because there is a war going on. Reads BCPD. I like the music. Looks like the entrance. Let's go inside. There's probably going to be an argument before Ed turns up.
ここが BCP のロビーか。広いんだな。おい、あんた、何の用だい？被害届でも出すのかい？
Yes, I wonder what she's here for. Call girl, staple of modern society. Yep. Not from around here. Want to get away from here, baby? Real good price, I promise. Oh dear. Well, let's talk with this guy. He's a BCP cop. Looks like he's the receptionist. Maybe I'll start asking this guy about Ed.
ああ、いいかな。俺はジョナサン・イングダム。地球で探偵をしてる。それで、ビヨンドまでわざわざどうしたの？
Surely they'd know his name.
昔ここに勤務してたことがある。へえ、本当かい。ぶち込まれてたってわけじゃないだろうな。警官をしてたんだ。当時の旧友に会いに来た。なるほど。同窓会でもしようってわけか。それで話してみな。
Yeah, straight up. How's the crime situation here these days? I know you didn't come here to ask me that. Whatever. It's been 30 years, what do you expect? They try to tell you it's a safe place and everything, but in reality, Beyond's the same as any big city on home. See her there? Comes with the territory. It always happens when a bunch of people live together. And when the city turns dirty, us cops have to play dirty. Right, let's ask about Ed. Here to see Ed Brown. You know, the former Policenaut. Ed Brown, that's the guy you're here to see? Jesus, you came all the way to see here. He's in the dump. The dump? Yeah, Vice, BCP's dumping ground. He's in charge there. Let's ask about Vice. You said Vice. If guys like us get the BS work, you can imagine the fun they have. AP handles just about everything they used to do. Yeah, I don't even know why they still call it Vice. It's down in the basement, we call it the cave. Right, that's actually, when you think about it, on a space station, how would you define the basement? Because technically a basement is below ground level, and on a space station there is no ground. Effectively there's floor, yeah, but ground? So why is that? It's dark, smelly, and weird stuff grows on the walls. That's what it does now? Show... Yeah, show the Policenauts photo. You know this picture, right? You were a Policenaut too? Damn it, no idea. Oh right, you and Ed, makes sense now. So you had anti-aging ops or something?
助かったよ。その言葉は風紀課に行ってからにしてもいい。どうして？聞かなかった方が良かったかもな。立ちの落ちぶれた姿は見たくないもんだ。
Right, well let's go to the Vice area in the basement.
地下だな、風紀課は。あんた、エドに伝えてくれ。早くやめちまいなって。いつまでもただ飯食らってると惨めだってな。俺は便利屋じゃない。言いたけりゃ自分の口で言うんだ。
Good response. Right, so Ed's ended up with all the shit work. The shittest of the shit work.
ここが噂に名高い風紀課か。なるほど。優遇されてる部署とは思えんな。
Someone snoring. He's eating a hamburger. I remember me and Ed used to hit the fast food joints all the time. You hungry for something? Forget it, don't even ask. Okay, and who is she? She's quite a tall woman. Must be at least 6 feet. I went into bet it's Ed who's snoring. Is that Ed? Can't quite make out the face. Closer. Yeah, is that alright? Hey Ed. He's out cold. Unbelievable. Yo Ed, wake up.
居眠りするにはまだ早いぜ。
ジョナサン。
30年も先回りしやがって。
ジョナサン。ジョナサン・イングラムか。懐かしいな。
エドも元気そうだな。
ジョナサン、よく来てくれた。ゆっくりしてってくれ。この通り俺の方は暇を持てましてる。そうだ、ビヨンドでも案内しようか。
エド、違うんだ。実は頼みがあってきたんだ。
頼み？
ああ、助けが欲しい。俺の捜査に協力してくれ。ロレインの夫、徳川製薬の北条健三という男がこのビヨンドで行方不明になっている。俺はロレインの依頼でその北条の消息を追ってるんだ。エド？
ジョナサン、すまんがそういうことなら力にはなれん。
エド、ロレインが殺されたんだ。俺の目の前で。何か大きな事件に巻き込まれたに違いないんだ。
すまん、ジョナサ
ン。どうしちまったんだよエド。いつからそんなふぬけになった？
頭を冷やせジョナサン。この一件は我々の担当ではない。ホームの警察に任せるのが一番だ。
エド？
ジョナサン、BCP で俺たちのことを何て呼ばれてるか知ってるか？ジャンク屋だ。ここはクズしか集まってこん。後がないんだ。
昔のエドはどこへ行ったんだ？俺の知ってるあのエドは。
ジョナサン、お前の知ってるエドは30歳も若いエドだ。今の俺は違う。守るべき家族もローンもある。年を取れば勇気もなくなる。失敗も恐れる。権力にも屈するようになるんだ。俺はゲイツのように器用ではない。
エド？
俺はここでこの汚い地下で机にしがみついているのが精一杯だ。今のこの地位もゲイツの情けだ。
分かった、それ以上言うな。
デカ長がやらないんなら私が手伝うわ。
メリルがやるって言うんなら僕もその話に乗った。
お前たちバカなこと言うな。こんなことが上にバレたら終わりだぞ。
終わりってデカ長、ここがその終わりなんじゃないの？
エド、俺は30年の間にいろんなものを失っちまった。ロレインも。だがこれで本当に全てを失っちまったってわけだな。無理を言ったなエド。じゃあな。
なんてこった。あと3年だぞ。あと3年で無事定年だってのに。たくジョナサン、表だっては協力できんからな。
エド、
それから無茶はごめんだぞ。無茶は
分かってるさエド。心配するな。
お前の心配するのが一番心配なんだ。それからメリルにデイブ、お前らこの件には手を出すな。いいな。この件は俺の個人的な問題だ。
了解デカ長、手は出さないわ。
口は出すけどね。
たく、あ、ジョナサン、遅れたがこいつらを紹介しておく。メリルにデイブだ。メリルはホーム生まれのホーム育ち。元ハイテク特殊部隊フォックスハウンドの最後の隊員だ。残事。
Oh, Meryl, I believe, is a Metal Gear Solid character. I can't remember which one she was in. I think it may have been Snake Eater. There was a whole scene, I believe, with one of the snake characters where they were literally just at camp, but everything was done really carefully to make it look like something sordid was going on when it wasn't. It was very cleverly done. And I believe this game was before then, so they reused the character. Yeah. I actually can't remember if this game was before or after the original Metal Gear Solid, because this game was 96. I'll have to look up when Metal Gear Solid was. I think that may have been 98. Okay.
バーランド陥落に参加した。
道理で地球なまりがひどいと思った。
よろしくポリスノーツさん。
デイブはビヨンド生まれ、ビヨンド育ちのビヨンズだ。
Cylinder.
よろしくジョナサン。テレストリアルは大歓迎だよ。ホームはいいものな。僕もホームの移住願いを申請中なんだ。
よろしくメリルにデイブ。
さてジョナサン、どうしよう。とりあえず BCP 内を案内しようか。お前もポリスノーツだったんだ。興味はあるだろ。
And oh god. You got a cute face, but you have a flirty side to you. You sound the chief about the last guy who hit on me. Yeah, what is it? Ask about her. Why don't you tell me about yourself? That's a surprise, no one's ever said that to me before. Not in person anyway. Mainly into bikes and combat. She likes men, but not that way. Of course, ever since I came here, half of me's died. You can't ride bikes on the colony. Well, you can, but only electric ones. They don't let you import gas engine models. A bike's nothing without the speed. Okay. You won't be much without the military either. Let's go past. So you're in the military on home. Why'd you join? Everyone in my family was in the military. I guess that's why. I think they kind of hoped I would. What's it like working here? Advice, pretty boring. Catching johns and prostitutes with undercover stings, basic patrols of the colony, that kind of stuff. What do you mean, boring? There's this big area for prostitution in the centre of the colony called Kabuki Quarter. Tourists from home like to go there for zero-gravity sex. They arrest them, or we arrest them. They get out on bail. It's an endless cycle. Don't like it there because I get sass since I'm terrestrial. Why's it called Kabuki Quarter? There was a red light district in late 20th century Japan known as Kabukicho. There was an explosion in the number of cases of STBO in Japan back then. Kabukicho was hit particularly hard. So our friends packed up and moved things here. There are rumours Tokugawa helped fund the place as a gesture towards his employees. Okay. Right, let's look at the knife. That's quite a knife. It's a Nishio combat knife. It's for protection, carried one since I was in the military. No one would ever go after you. You look like a mellow guy, total opposite of the cops I've known. All my life everyone's told me all I do is smile. It bugged my teachers. Dave thinks he looks cool like this. Right, let's ask about... So why did you become a cop? As you know, I was born here on Beyond. I've never been outside the cylinder. Became a cop because I thought I could get a transfer to home. It takes time for Beyonds to obtain an immigration visa, sometimes years. It's not easy either with all the checks they do. You're lucky. So, when I was a kid, Beyond was a safe place. That's why I decided to become a cop. I figured it wouldn't be a dangerous job. I'd no idea, sorry to hear that. Then all the dirtbags started showing up. Our job is to put away as many of those dirtbags as we can. You know what? They show them the Policenauts photo. I think the Policenauts are still cool. I don't care what anyone else says. Right. Look at the burger. That a Maximum hamburger? They became famous after they set up so-called drive-through for astronauts. Wouldn't that be bloat-through? I used to eat a lot of them on home. This is the Beyond version of the 1G meal. Can't get enough of these. On Beyond there are two types of meals. The other one is a 0G meal. I like the 1G meal. Dave wants to try a carbonated drink on home. Things like carbonated drinks and beer don't taste very good in zero gravity, so they're impossible to come by here. Then even when you try to get them shipped from home, they spoil along the way. What's this tattoo, I wonder? Is that a real tattoo? No, just a paint tattoo. Stays on for about a year. You're a woman after all. Were tattoos on women uncommon in the 90s? I mean, in Japan, probably. Because even now, tattoos still have stigma in Japan. And a gun. That gun seems a little big for a woman. Dangerous choice of words. Is this a Magnum Monster? Oh, this is a Magnum Monster Special, the biggest lift gun in the world. A lift gun. This kind of gun suppresses recoil, allowing you to use it in zero gravity. Almost all guns on the colony are lift guns. There's a secondary explosion the moment the bullet exits the muzzle, kind of like a rocket, that serves as the bullet's main propulsion. That's why there's so little recoil. Wouldn't another explosion right outside the gun throw off your aim? No, so you have a laser that keeps you locked onto your target. Is that another feature? It has another feature to absorb the residual recoil anyway. I'll take my recoil any day. Have you practiced at the shooting range yet? It's got several different programs, you should check it out sometime. Right, I'm a pretty good shot, but I guess it wouldn't hurt. I haven't had a game over yet, thankfully. Nice little fourth wall break. Wouldn't mind watching you practice sometime. Love to see that what that thing can do. What's that shirt you're wearing? It's from the repatriatist movement. I'm a repatriatist myself. Mankind should return home. We don't belong out here. Jesus, Dave, not so loud. Right, okay, so that's a bit of a controversial subject on Beyond. You could kiss your job goodbye if the brass found out you're a repatriatist. Repatriatist? Okay. Outer space is becoming more and more polluted every year. The movement says we should cease all space exploration and development and return to home. Okay. Ready to take a walk.
いいのか？
いいんだよ。お前を一人にする方が心配だ。びっくりするぞ。ここはホームの警察とはかなり違う。さあ、どこへ案内しよ
う。Okay, let's have a look around.
ここが BCP の正面玄関のロビーだ。大きさを無視すれば、ホームの警察と大差はないはずだ。
整然としすぎてるがな。
That's Bob, one of the desk sergeants. All he does is talk about people behind their backs. I don't like the guy. He's one of the desk jockeys who thinks his shit don't stink. I see the hooker has disappeared, probably off on her job. That guy ain't one of us. He's a police drama buff, movies, TV shows, you name it. Okay. He likes to come and hang about. I wonder, what kind of shows is he going to reference? You know where Lieutenant Brannigan is? Detective books on the Hom. For God's sake, don't get him going. He comes here every day babbling the same nonsense, we all know him. Right, okay, so he babbles nonsense about old police stuff. That means he's going to be important later on, because we're going to need old-fashioned policing, I imagine. Okay, here's a cop here. They used to do what AP does now. Those are operators. They process all the information that comes in here. Our efforts to protect the public are based on this total information network. That's a map of Beyond. The government monitors virtually the entire colony around the clock. Virtually the entire colony? So what parts of it does it not cover? You can run, but you can't hide, huh? Exactly, your toilet gets clogged and they know about it before you do. That's, well, I can see the benefits, but at the same time... What's this over here? Information on anything you can imagine gets sent here in real time. Those guys process it and send it to our databanks. Sort of like old dispatch operators. Okay. Right, let's go to forensics next.
Yo, Dr. 先生。
わしはビクトルじゃ。いつになったらちゃんと呼んでくれるんじゃ。
諦めた方がいい。エドは物覚えが悪いんだ。
お、誰じゃねその人は。
ジョナサン、紹介するよ。BCP の鑑識を担当しているビクトル・ユルゲンス先生だ。
よろしく。ジョナサン・イングラムだ。OLA で探偵をしている。
ほう、あんたがあの有名なイングラム飛行士え若い頃、あんたの火星有人飛行の中継をワクワクして見ていたよ。そうか、戻ってきたんじゃな、あんたの方も。よろしくな。
Right. He looks like one stubborn SOB. He's a terrestrial, right? Faces like the rings of a tree. What else can you tell from this mug? Is that your ID? Yeah, I don't like my hologram, so I've got this sticker over it. Causes problems with the readers whenever I have to scan it. Okay, now what's this face over here? What's this? That's my aid analyzer. What you see on the monitor is a virtual representation of the AIDS AI. Oh, why did they have to use that acronym? It's like that, there was a weight loss chocolate from the, I think, early 80s, or maybe the late 70s, and they literally called it AIDS, but it was spelt AYDS, and they had the tagline, "Lose weight with AIDS," which was so unfortunate for them. I think they went through a rebranding, but they didn't do particularly well. Hey, I named him Gorby. He responds to my voice. Okay. Can we talk to him? Hey, Gorby. I wouldn't bother. He's an AI up to a point. He can tell you what's in the dirt on your shoes, but he can't talk. Just blips and bleeps. Okay. Victor. Where's it? Okay, ask about him. When did you move to Beyond? I was born in Moscow back when socialists ran the country, which kind of explains the name. That picture back there was taken around the time I was born. Oh, okay. There was a little thing with pictures of Russia in Snatcher. I sincerely hope Kojima hasn't done that again for this one. After the collapse of the Soviet Union, I went to America to study forensic medicine, later became a medical examiner. I've done autopsies on over 30,000 bodies throughout my career. Okay, 30,000 bodies. Okay. So... that's a hefty lot. I mean, if you think about it, if you average, say, 300 days in a year, yeah, average 300 days in a year, and let's say you did 5 autopsies a year, yeah, so that would be 300 times 5. What would that be? That would be 1,500 in a year. So that'd be 20 years worth, and that's assuming you can do 5 a day in those 300 days a year. And I don't know how long an autopsy takes. So, yikes. In my 40s, I became interested in studying bodies in space and came here. You should see the bodies you get in zero gravity. The decomposition stages are freaky stuff. Yeah, okay. Ask about his job. My area of expertise is medical examinations, but with my aid, I can perform most other analyses too. AP has its own science team, so we're on a shoestring budget here. It's just Gorby and me. The further computer analysis progress, the less use there is for people like me. Okay. Ask about aid. Tell me anything about that aid doohickey. That's a great word, doohickey. AID is short for Auto Analysis Identification Device. It's an AI gadget for doing analysis. It's got a number of sensors like a spectrograph, a chromatograph, and a geotechnical sounder. Make it yourself? Are you kidding? I wouldn't even know where to start. AID and its analysis programs were created by this guy on Home. I'm going to keep the investigation quiet. Actually, let's show him the photo of all of these guys. I still remember it, that famous picture. Oh, is that it? Okay, let's have a look at the picture then. Okay, where's this? It's Russia, the old Soviet Union, I should say. That's where I'm from. It's been 50 years since the last time I was there. Okay, so if it's been 50 years since he was there, that means he was an adult when he left, so he's got to be at the youngest in his late 60s, possibly in his 70s. Maybe even older. It's Russia, Dr. Jurgen's home country. Okay. Right, so we've been to Vice in the lobby. Let's go to the AP room.
そうだ、ビクトル。
Take a look.
調べてもらいたいものがある。
おお、どれ見せてみ。
これなんだが。
Okay. I thought we were having a tour. I didn't realise we were starting the investigation already. Capsules and a leaf. Can you do it? I could never turn down a request from the Policenauts, could I? This was stayed between us, okay, Doctor? Give me a little time. Shouldn't take too long. Right, no problem. Get started right away.
後で寄ってくれ。分析結果を教えよ。
じゃあ先生。
So that's probably going to be once we're finished
ここが BCP を支える
having a look around.
時代の最先端を行く主力部署だ。正面にいるのが AP の隊長であり、この BCP の本部長でもあるゲイツ・ベッカーだ。
ゲイツか。偉くなったもんだ。
30年ぶりだろう、ジョナサン。あいつも変わった。
Gates was the Scottish guy. Oh, bloody hell.
久しぶりだな。
ジョナサン・イングラム。
Yep.
ジョナサンじゃないか。いつこっちへ。
ゲイツ、BCP 本部長だって。出世だな。おめでとう。嬉しいよ。
みんなのおかげだ。私一人の力ではない。ジョナサン、あの事故の件は残念だった。あの鉛筆事故がなければ君がこの椅子に座っていたかもしれん。
その話はやめてくれ。
ま、同じポリスノーツとして大歓迎するよ。どうだ、観光はまだか。
いや、観光で来たわけじゃない。
で、どうした？
実は
ジョナサン、
人を探している。名前は北条健三。ビヨンドの徳川製薬社員だ。
徳川
？3週間前にこのビヨンドから姿を消した。
This isn't going to go well.
来た彼のワイフは地球で殺された。
穏やかではないな。本部長、私はジョナサン、徳川が絡んでいるとなればことは単純では済まない。悪いが BCP として公には協力できん。その代わり江戸を使ってくれていい。徳川に何かあれば最終的には我々が乗り出す。
Didn't Ed say that if the higher-ups find out about Ed working with Jonathan, that there'd be trouble? And now the chief has literally just said, yeah, it's okay for Ed to work on it. That, then again, that might be some mistranslation with the translation work, because as I say, this isn't an official translation, so that may have been a mistake there. But don't know for certain. I mean, the translation's been fantastic so far. It's been working very well. But yeah. Yeah, the next line, literally, you'll give Jonathan your full cooperation. I mean, hell, that might even be a tiny bit of poor writing from the Japanese version. But let's carry on.
北条の捜査に全面的に協力してやってくれ。ただし内密にな。
Maybe.
わかりました。
恩に着るゲイツ。
ジョナサン、歓迎はするが派手にはせぬ。
Oh, he's not going to behave.
迷惑はかけない。
No, he's going to cause lots of problems.
久しぶりだな、まったく。
You've aged pretty well, Gates. Aye, I suppose I've been luckier than some. And I suppose that the guys who did the translation for this decided that because Gates is meant to be Scottish... Hey, Gates, what is it? Ask about the ex-Policenauts. What happened to the others? Tokugawa resigned from BCP 20 years ago to head up the Tokugawa group. That's one of the reasons why I'm suspicious, Tokugawa. And the fact the police won't even look into the Tokugawa, anything relating to Tokugawa. Okay. Salvatore quit, I suppose, 10 years or so ago and apparently went back to home. Okay, BCP. Policenauts eventually evolved into a proper police force we have today. AP do most of the work here now. They're our mobile police unit. What does AP stand for? Advanced Police. Oh, how original. AP were created to be a new breed of space police designed around the special set of conditions you have on a colony. Okay. Oh, wow. That's quite a few more. AP's members. We recruit AP members from government frozeners. Right, okay. That's interesting because... Oh, that Tony on the flight was a frozener, wasn't he? And I still think he was the assassin. Still convinced of that. It's dangerous work. Having family or friends is only a burden. That's one of the lessons of your accident. Yes. On top of that, they only use sperm-carrying genes well suited to space's environment when they fertilise frozen eggs. In other words, they select the fathers from past astronauts. What about the eggs? Are they as diligent about choosing the eggs from the mothers? Meaning we could be responsible for some of these. Meaning we could be responsible for some of these guys. Possibility is there. You could say Frozeners are literally the sons of us astronauts. That seems barbaric in a way. I'm not sure if I agree. Okay, AP's work. In addition to their normal police duties, AP and EMPs, you'll use EMPs to perform rescue operations inside the colony. EMPs. EMPs are a type of mechanical suit used both inside and outside the colony, born from a cooperation between Tokugawa Heavy Industries and ourselves. They employ a bilateral master-slave manipulator, which allows for 7 degrees of movement. 7 degrees of movement? Normally it's 6 degrees of movement, not 7. So what would the 7th one be? Just like the human body. Okay. Technology is a product of Tokugawa Heavy Industries' research on master-slave manipulators. That Yuri you had your accident in is a far cry from their performance and reliability. Why don't they just turn them into robots while they're at it? Visual sensors in today's robots take 1 full second longer than a human to process data. Yeah, that still kind of tracks with today's technology. A second can make all the difference in the world out there. Teleexistence is a more feasible option. You mean controlling EMPs by remote? You wouldn't have to worry about exposure to cosmic rays that way either. Mind you, we still have problems such as communications interference and time lag to overcome first. Okay. Let's see. The police on home have been in touch with us as this involves the murder of a Beyond. What a senseless crime. Who would have thought something like that would happen to your ex-wife? What's Ola saying? They've concluded she was the victim of a bomb planted by repatriatists or possibly eco-terrorists, but there's not much to go on. Let's show him the Policenauts photo. Well, I haven't seen that in donkey's years. That's such a British term, isn't it? Donkey's years. Okay, let's see what things I can... Actually, a uniform looks more like something you find in the military. Okay. You can see the back of Gates' head in the glass. Is it me or is he going bald? Something the matter? No, just admiring your clean windows. Boy, these things are spick and span, eh, Ed? As you'd imagine, the chief, being chief is no bed of roses. Your life revolves around protecting Beyond citizens. Right, okay. Yeah, we've been to forensics, so to the shooting range. Cheerio, Gates. Now,
ここが BCP の射撃訓練場だ。BCP では週2回の射撃訓練が義務付けられている。イヤープロテクターはその壁にかけてある。実弾を使うんでかなりの音になるんだ。
俺も使っていいのか？
構わんだろう。税関で銃の登録はしてるんだろ？
ああ、登録は済ませた。弾のライフリングまでな。
あの右の端末を使えば訓練プログラムが始まる。現れるマンターゲットの命中率と命中箇所が分かる仕組みになっている。ただしこのプログラムは無反動銃、つまりリフトガン用に設定されているからな。リフトガンはいかにロックオンするかが問題なんだ。実行プログラムはターゲットモード、トレーニングモード、コンバットモードの計3モードが用意されている。
Okay.
それぞれ様々な状況を想定した特徴のあるプログラムが取り入れられている。昔ながらのメカトロニクスと最先端の立体映像、エレクトロニクスを駆使している。
それじゃあ VR なのか？
いや、実戦に近づけるために VR は使っていない。銃も実弾を使う。安全性の追求だけでは訓練にはならない。
Yeah, that's a good
でも
point.
銃の訓練に VR を採用していないのと同じだ。ここでは撃てば現実に食らわない。見た目は少し古い感じを受けると思うが、そこいらのバーチャルリアリティとは違う。そこのインテリジェントターミナルで選択すれば作動する。
Okay, now one thing I'm wondering is that screen a CRT? It looks like a CRT, doesn't it? Part of the trainer. You select program with this. Okay. Well, I'm not actually that worried about doing a shooting thing, because I've already done one. Don't think I'll bother this time. So, what do you think of BCP? There's blood on your clothes, okay? I should think so. I've had this gown since my first autopsy. How often does he clean it? It holds the blood of every single body I've looked at over the years, so he's never cleaned it once. I would have thought there'd be a lot more blood on it in that case. Oh, that is terrible. Guess you could say a piece of their souls too. Oh god. Victor? Where is it? Ask about the analysis result. How'd the analysis go? Well, somebody's impatient. I don't have the results yet. Come back later. Why don't you take a wander around the station or something? I thought we have done. Thanks for your time, Victor. Let's go back to the Bison. Get rid of that home accent.
ビヨンズは冷徹に話すからな。地球のように流暢なアクセントがない。
Getting used to the place. What? You can put that knife away. I won't fight you. Sorry, what? Wait, did you say you like me? I'm not even going to try. Okay, we can ask about the other people. I want to get to the point where we get the results before I finish tonight. It's already getting a bit late and I'd like to get to that point. But, yeah, so I saw Gates again. Chief Becker, he's something else, isn't he? I'd say he's a charismatic leader with impeccable judgment. Right, Chief? What's that supposed to mean? I think maybe he's got something you've lost. Oh, that's a burn. He still feels like a terrestrial. So this is a guy who's gone missing. That must be his wife next to him, right? So that's Hojo. Something doesn't look like the type who just leave everything and take off. Okay, right. Ask me about Victor from Forensics. Don't know him that well, but he seems a nice guy. Yeah, he does. Reminds me of home a lot. He seemed to have a thing for terrestrials. Actually, now I think about it, Chief Becker and Victor even smell like home, if that makes sense. Yeah. Right. Ask him about Gates. Get up with Gates. It's like a mini reunion, huh? He's an amazing guy. Get a little nervous around him, to be honest. All these people praising Gates is making me suspicious of him. Hey, come on, I was a policenaut too. Yeah, I know, cough. Ask about Victor. Yeah, the old guy, I like him. He's got something in him that Beyonds don't, again. Like how he can be uninhibited and irrational at times. Okay. Right, I feel like there is something I'm missing at this point, and I think it's probably going to take me a long while to find it. So I think I'm going to save the game and leave it there for this stream. It's like 10 to 10 at this point. Just going to quickly see if there's anyone available to raid. Unfortunately not. The only person who's streaming at the moment is someone who's doing a Twitch Plays series that, from what I've seen, hasn't exactly been that successful. I saw previously they had a stream that had been going 33 hours, and the screen that they had was the same one that I'd seen about a week earlier. So, yeah, not gonna go that way because yeah, I don't think it's quite the right kind of thing to raid. So yeah, that'll be me finished for the evening. Yeah, this game is definitely going at a slower pace than Snatcher, mainly because Snatcher I knew already. I'd completed it several times and so didn't have to figure everything out. I think there's a handful of things I did need to re-figure out, but not much. This one, I'm at a complete blank slate, and I'm really enjoying it. I did actually have a go at trying to create my own Snatcher-like game, and a lot of the things that I had done to try and improve on the gameplay, and the limitations of the gameplay of the original were a product of the time, but a lot of them are actually in this. Yeah, things like having the mouse pointer to click on things to view, rather than having the list of items that you can look at. And then having things pop up in a menu right next to it is exactly the sort of thing I was doing, except it was using an actual mouse for PC. So it's great to see that Kojima and his team were doing, and actually did, the kind of things that I was thinking up like 20 plus years later. Yeah, so... yeah, I'm very interested to see where the story goes. There's a couple of characters I'm very suspicious of. That Tony Redwood guy we met on the flight coming in. The fact he had a bandage on his arm, in the same arm that Jonathan had shot and was bleeding when the biker who left at the beginning, that was suspicious to me. I'm suspicious of Tokugawa. He's at the top of the business. But then again, maybe he's he could be like the person at the top who just bitches about everyone not doing what he wants, and there's a group underneath, although it could very well be that he's part of it, especially considering there was the blatantly obvious sabotage that caused the accident back, what was it, be about 28 years prior to this, the one that left Jonathan floating around for 25 years. So lots of things to discover and figure out. In some ways, I'm kind of surprised they killed off Lorraine right at the beginning. I was half expecting her to end up in hospital in a coma pretty much for most of the game, and then she'd come out the coma, and then there'd be more information you'd be able to get out of her at that point. But the fact she's genuinely dead, and in some ways it does raise the question of why would Jonathan go ahead with the investigation? I mean, fair enough, there is the argument that his wife asked him to do it for her. But aside from the fact that she is his ex-wife, I'm not sure if I would. But then again, he is desperate for work. Not that he's likely to get paid now that she's dead. Anyway, I'm just rambling on, and it's approaching 10 o'clock in the evening. So, thank you everyone who has dropped by. I'm hoping this is proving to be an enjoyable watch. I know it's going to be a bit slow compared to somebody who knows a game kind of like how when I played Snatcher. But yes, I'm determined to play this through to the end. I don't want to use any walkthroughs or guides. I want to figure it all out. If this isn't a game that you are familiar with, then please feel free in future streams to post in chat any ideas you might have for what solutions might be. If it's blatantly obvious to you, only mention it if you think I'm really struggling. Then again, it might be better to mention at the beginning of the next stream. Yes. Anyway, rambling on. Right, to finish up, my YouTube is linked below for those of you who are watching live on Twitch right now. The VOD for the two halves of the stream will be up on Sunday and Tuesday, midday GMT. I'll be linking those on my Discord, which is also linked as well. I'll put all my notifications through. I'm really tired. I'm really struggling to think right now. I've got playlists linked below if you want to have a look at those, and there's also a link to my book on Amazon and Kindle if you're of the type to want to have a read of something quite interesting. Yeah, that book, I released that book 4 years ago now. That was 2019, so I really need to do an update to it. Anyway, I will be back on next Friday, 7 PM GMT, to continue playing this wonderful game. In some ways, it's a nostalgia trip without being a nostalgia trip. The styling is so much nostalgia for me. I love the games from the 90s and the pixel art. And I love this style of game as well. I was so annoyed that there were so few games like Snatcher back in the day. I wish there were more of them. And now I'm getting to experience one that I would never have been able to otherwise. So yeah, this is quite some fun. I have no idea how long it is. I might have to look up just so I can get an idea of how many streams this is likely to be. But yes, just set up my ending screen. So yes, as I say, we'll be back on next Friday to continue on from where we are leaving off. And I hope you all have a good weekend, a good long bank holiday weekend if you're living in the UK, and a good week as well. So I shall hopefully see you next week. Bye.